Good evening, I'm Alex Tremaine and I'm an old man that builds Gundams, and today we are starting the first stream of a new build. We'll be building this Master Grade Full Armour Unicorn. Rather excited to get into this. I really enjoyed the real grade build of the Full Armour Unicorn, which was my first build. Here he is. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting into this one. Let's put you back there. Very much looking forward to getting into this one. Let's see what the differences are, and how similar or not this is to the Master Grade Banshee, which I've built off stream over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, looking forward to getting started on this, yeah, we'll get pretty much right into it. I will be streaming this full build on stream, whole thing. Previous build was a RX-93 new Gundam, the real grade, including the HWS expansion kit. All of those VODs are now up on my YouTube channel. Link to the YouTube channel is in the Twitch channel description here, if you're interested. I stream currently Thursdays and Sundays, but not been getting much turnout for Thursdays, and I've had a few people to chat. Sorry, not getting much turnout on Sundays, but I've been having a few people to chat on Thursdays. So, contemplating moving the Sunday stream to a Tuesday evening stream. I'm doing Tuesday evenings, Thursday evenings. We'll see how that goes. That may begin from this week. So after today, the next stream may now be next Tuesday, but we'll see how that goes. I think that's everything. Let's dig in. Keep that safe. So, instructions. Put those to one side. We have an awful lot of stickers here. Awful lot of fucking stickers. If you've joined me on stream before, you will know that I have no fondness for stickers. They can all get into the sea. So, this is this appears to be shield and some torso parts by the look of it. One of the shields at any rate. We've got a lot of the translucent parts here. Now this is something I'm interested in checking. What I discovered recently, because I actually read the descriptions recently, is that some of these translucent parts are UV active, and indeed the green for the psycho frame here is UV active, so that'll be nice. I'm contemplating getting some nice UV lighting for the shelf that these are all going to go on eventually, but that'll be for the future. So step one is we're just going to move this out of the way over here. And glowy indeed, Miss Temperance. Glowy indeed. Right. So, what are we starting with? Apparently we're starting with the body. Which There is definitely a degree of familiarity here between this and the Banshee. The Banshee was not the Ver.Ka, whereas this I believe is. So I'll be curious to. Yeah, we are the Ver.Ka here. So I will be curious to see what the differences are in sort of proportions and things, but I'm not anticipating a huge amount of difference in how things are going to go together. So this is not a manual that is going to give me a list of sprues I need for each section of the build, which is a shame. Some of these do, some of these don't. This one apparently does not. So what have we got going on here? Okay, so I think this is going to suffer from similar weak ankle syndrome to the master grade Banshee, which is a shame, but you know, there are worse things to have than slightly weak ankles. Right, I best, in which case, try and dig out some sprues for this. So I'm just going to mute the microphone briefly whilst I do all the crinkly plastic wrapping for the sprues, and then I shall be back shortly. Music appears to be a little miserable. Let's give you something a little brighter to listen to whilst I play with plastic bags. Jerry124, welcome to the stream and thank you for the follow. Put these stickers out of the way. We've got Sprue D, which is some torso parts and shield parts. This is all weapon stuff. This is all legs. Sprue B. So we need D, I, we've got I out, D, I, M, we've got A, M. That is sprues. This is sprue C. This is torso, this is waist unit and head related, so we'll keep that handy as well. H and P. Waist unit. These are legs. What the heck is Ver.Ka? E. P. Arms and shoulders. Sprue M, that's the one I'm looking for. Jerry, which one are you looking at in particular? There's a couple here. So we have the, let's go, this one is the perfect grade Zeta Gundam. This is the perfect grade Strike Rouge. This aircraft here is the Sky Grasper, which comes with the Strike Rouge. Then this is the RX-93 new Gundam with the HWS. Up here, hang on a minute, let me bear with me a second. This is the so this is the perfect grade Zeta Gundam. I've heard a lot of people say bad things about these. I really enjoyed this build. I'm quite satisfied with how it came out. This was my second build. I would strongly encourage people not to be frightened of perfect grades. I found this. I found that build to be a... You have to pay attention. That particular perfect grade has it has a lot of small springs and a lot of tiny screws, but as long as you're paying attention and you don't drop any, that's actually the worst of it. If anything, I find with my stubby fingers that because the parts are literally just bigger on perfect grades, it's actually a lot easier to handle in some ways. You've just got more space to get the cutters in, get a file in, to tidy nub marks up. I would not be afraid of perfect grade. They take longer, there's more parts, but there's nothing inherently more difficult about them to actually do. So what have we got here? Oh. Okay, I have no idea what those are going to be for, so they can go in the box. But Sprue M, this we were looking for. I think that's got us enough sprues to get started. But yeah, don't be afraid of perfect grades. They're, as I say, that was the second one I did after this real grade unicorn. And it was not any more difficult. It just kind of took longer because it was bigger. There were more parts. Right. Sprue I is right here. Yeah, now that is a fair point. The perfect grades are not cheap, not by any stretch of the imagination. I don't blame anybody for not getting them on those grounds. I was fortunate that after Christmas I was a little flush with Christmas money, and I was able to justify grabbing a few perfect grades. Well, two. Got these two just after Christmas. I do have a perfect grade that I'm going to be building on stream. I have the Strike Freedom perfect grade, which is in a box down here, and I'm going to dig in. I've enjoyed the one master grade I built, which was the Banshee, the master grade Banshee, which looks like it's going to be very similar build to this. But if you're interested in doing something a little bit more complex but don't want to spend money for a perfect grade, these real grade kits are really nice. Yeah, the Exia looks nice. I'm hoping my next perfect grade is hoping I'm going to be able to lay my hands on a perfect grade unicorn. I'm a big fan of the unicorn. I just really like the aesthetics of them, and I like the transformation into destroy mode. But yeah, I like the looks of both the 00 and the Exia. They're both on my list. Yeah, the RG Strike Freedom looks good. 8 and 2. I should stop talking quite so much and start doing some building. Yeah, the RG Evangelions are tempting. I had some high grade Evangelions back in the late 90s. I picked them up from an anime convention, just because I was really into Evangelion at the time, and they were great fun. Really liked those. Miss Temperance, the PG Unicorn will make it a unicorn at every scale, but not every grade. I haven't got any high grade unicorn. I haven't got a high grade unicorn. 8 and 2. Yeah, I kept hold of those. I got the high grade Eva 1, the blue Eva 0, which I think came with the enormous gun from whichever episode it is where they fight the tetrahedron. And Unit 2, and I was really pleased with those at the time. Kept hold of them for quite a while, but God, 10-15 years ago now, I didn't have space for them, or I couldn't justify keeping them on one occasion when I moved house, so they went away. It was the right decision. I kind of wish I still had them, but it's not the end of the world, and I got to be honest, those real grade Evangelions look nice, and that's something I'm probably going to consider doing at some point. Well, yeah, the super deformed models are really nice. My other half builds a whole bunch of the SD models, and they all come out looking really good. You are, however, making me feel old, which, you know, is, I guess, on brand for this channel in that I am. Yeah, sounds like I was wasting my money on Evangelion models and Evangelion VHS tapes sometime before you had the opportunity to do so, which just is kind of sad, I guess. What are we doing here? This does just, there's no orientation, this just goes straight on and then flips all the way over. Right, D4, M4 and M5. M4 and 5. I've got a soft spot for Zoids, in that, see previous comments about age, I was building Zoids in the, I want to say 80s, very late 80s. We have a phone in the, or we have a camera in shot of the other camera. I don't think there's much I can do about that at the moment. So I'm always going to have a soft spot for Zoids. I was building those when I was some small number of age. So yeah, I like nice easy questions like that. D4. Let's get ourselves a tiny human. D4 is this tiny human. I mean, I have no idea what Zoids are producing these days. It's been an awful long time since I've looked at any of their kits. I was sort of aware that they were still making them, but I've not really actually looked into what they're offering these days. So, I hope everybody's had a better week than mine. Mine's been a bit of a... My week's been a bit of a fuck at work. But these things happen. It's nearly the weekend. I get to sit here and build Gunpla all evening, which is no bad thing, and will certainly help me relax. I've got to go. The only practical thing I think I have to do this weekend is go shopping tomorrow after work, get some food in. We're still trying to limit how much we're going out at the moment with the whole, you know, plague thing going on. So it's every other week I get to go for a car journey and pick up some food to last 2 weeks, and then that's it for a little while. And this week is the week, so I get to take the car for a spin tomorrow, which is nice. And yeah, I will try and, you know, not get distracted and actually put the shelf up. There will be no lights this weekend if I get it up, because I haven't ordered the lights, so that's going to have to wait until next, well, yeah, probably next payday. Though, depending on whether I instantly spend my paycheck on a perfect grade unicorn, maybe there won't be lights this month. We'll see. I mean, the shelf isn't going to be particularly spectacular, it's just going to get some stuff out of the way. I made a mistake this week of I've been going through I've mentioned on stream before, month or maybe a bit longer than a month ago now, I paved and reinstalled Windows, and so I've been going through my rather than just reinstalling all my games, I've been carefully going through my Steam library and reinstalling things that I either haven't played or haven't finished or haven't played in a very long time, to give myself a little bit of variety in my life. And one of the things I idly threw back on the computer this week was Star Trek Online, which is bad, as in it's not a great game. It's really showing its age. It's very creaky, it's kind of grindy as MMOs go, but you know, it does hit that nostalgia button, you know. I mean, it could have been worse. I could have reinstalled EVE Online and started playing that again, which I think would well, I just don't have time for that at the moment. That is a time sink and a half that I do not have the luxury for right now. I'd like to get back into EVE Online, but maybe when I win the lottery. Right, we have a tiny human in a tiny chair. And we need A19 and A13, which means we need some of the glowy blue sprue. Glowy green. There you go. Just to give you an idea of the... It's interesting, this camera picks up way more of the UV light than my eyes do. It's very interesting. But there you go. Nice shiny sprue. A19 and A13, so that is yeah, A13 and A19. Yeah. So yeah, I gave Star Trek Online a poke again. It still looks very similar to how it looked. It's still outside of the IP that it's using, it's still a pretty it's pretty much another MMO, aside from the, I guess, the sort of unique the unique trick it has is the combined space combat and third person on the ground combat, in that it tries to mimic a Star Trek episode with each of its missions. So you will spend some time shooting things in your ship, and then you'll have to send an away team somewhere to die. And that's nice, you know, that sort of rings true thematically. As I say, it's showing its age graphically, though it does seem that it's had a little bit of a facelift at some point, though not an enormous one. There's some big old textures in there. So I'm going to give that a poke over the weekend. I have a suspicion that it's not going to hold a huge amount of interest for very long. But yeah, it'd be interesting to play it again, even if only for a little while, before I get sucked back into something a little bit more recent. I've also been looking at Torment Tides of Numenera, which I got quite a way through but never finished, so I think that'll be a restart, because it's been a few years since I played that. Really enjoyed it at the time, but yeah, never finished it. I can't remember what I got distracted by with that. Something else came out and I just got completely distracted from it. So, there it is. There we go. So yeah, this weekend is going to be a nice quiet one. It's been a hell of a week. and I can do with doing as little as possible this weekend. Might even try and catch up on some professional wrestling. Sit in bed and watch some wrestling. That sounds like a nice relaxing way to spend an evening at some point. As I mentioned earlier, the probably won't be a stream on Sunday. I think I'm going to be moving the Sunday slot to Tuesday evening to match this one on Thursday evenings, because everybody seems to be busy on Sunday afternoons. I think if I could do Sunday evening, that might work better. But I have a weekly tabletop role-playing session on Sunday evenings, so that's not my Sunday evenings are already spoken for, sadly. Right, there we go. So this goes this way round, this goes this way round, this goes in here, like so. Tiny human goes inside the little sphere shape here, or hemisphere rather, and then gets contained inside the other hemisphere. And there we go. We have one pilot who is never getting out of there, which is probably for the best. So I-13 and M3. This is I-13. And M3. It really is a tiny human. Extremely tiny. I always get very impressed with the people who paint the tiny humans and paint them with such fine detail. That's a little beyond my skills, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Particularly as once this torso is built, a tiny human is never going to be seen ever again. Well, not strictly true. You can open the pilot's compartment up if it's anything like, well, clearly it is like the Banshee. So you can open the thing up. Yeah, there are pilots. It is easy to forget they're there sometimes. I do need to sit down and actually watch more Gundam. I am considering that this is what, the 6th Gunpla I've started building since Christmas, and I haven't really watched any of the actual TV series that these all come from, or TV series, because boy there are many. I checked. I should probably do that at some point, given how popular it is. Can't imagine I won't have a good time. And from what I understand, it's probably won't be as weird and miserable as Evangelion was. Not that there's anything wrong with weird and miserable. I mean, see previous comments about half my age me collecting Evangelion VHSs in the 90s, but yeah, it's if I want weird and miserable, Evangelion is still right there and available to me. Though, needless to say, those VHS tapes are long since gone, because I have nothing to play VHS tapes on anymore, and haven't for many years now. The ending, the actual TV series ending has grown on me over time, I guess. I did enjoy End of Evangelion, but yeah, there's the End of Evangelion movies. I still haven't watched any of the rebuild stuff, which I'm told is very good, but it I don't know. I was kind of satisfied with the original, you know, in the end. A16 and M2. All of the nubs. I mean, don't get me wrong, the ending of the TV series was indeed trippy as fuck. I mean, there's no argument there. And whilst there was some fucking excellent fight scenes in End of Evangelion, there was some things that I would just as soon not have in it. So yeah. Evangelion's one of those things I've just never really gone back to, on the grounds that I'm not sure. I'm worried that it wouldn't. I'm worried that a second watching of it now, well, second, that's unfair. I probably watched Evangelion, the original TV series at least. I probably watched the original TV series 6 or 7 times, in bits and pieces, because, you know, in the late 90s it was more difficult to get hold of anime, so once I had some, you watched it a fair bit if you had the tapes. But I haven't watched it since God knows, early 2000s at the most recent is the last time I watched it, and I just don't know if, I don't know how I feel about it now that I'm twice the age I was the last time I watched it, and it's a series that holds a lot of nostalgia for me. There's a few sort of animes from that era that I feel the same about. I don't know. I keep toying with the idea of trying to find... yes, Miss Temperance, you are absolutely correct. ED is a good thing that there's so much more available. And I think that's one of the other things is, do I want to just be indulging in 90s nostalgia, or do I want to watch something new and different, or at least something that I haven't seen before, even if it's not necessarily new? You know, I don't have the time that I had when I was in when it was the 90s and I was, you know, not working. So if I'm going to spend time on a series, then do I want to just relive my 20s, or do I want to find something that suits me now? A bit of both, I think, is the problem. Yeah, it's weird to think that the VHS is gone, dead format. But yeah, I'd like to. I think more than you've taken the words right out of my mouth there. Actually, I was going to say, more than rewatching Evangelion, I'd like to rewatch Tenchi Muyo. The OVAs specifically. I really enjoyed those back when I was, you know, 19, 20. And I have a feeling that I'd still enjoy those now. I don't know how easily available those are. There's some later stuff that I'd like to sit down and rewatch at some point. I never finished Serial Experiments Lane. I was picking that up on DVD, thankfully, not VHS. Or was I picking it up on VHS? I don't know. Either way, Serial Experiments Lane, there's a thing I'd like to watch. And I'd like to see the rest of Noir as well. I don't know what happened to my Cowboy Bebop DVDs. I did have the full season at one point. I think I lent them to somebody and never got them back. Which, you know, not the worst, but kind of irritating. Yeah, the Ghibli films are so much easier to get hold of. I remember seeing, I didn't know at the time, but I remember seeing the Laputa, probably the first anime I ever saw, unless you count Battle of the Planets, which I'm not entirely certain I do, given it's not really the same thing as the anime it was taken from. But either way, I saw Laputa when I can't have been more than 10. Yeah, can't have been more than 10 years old. And it would have been either the very late 80s or 1990, given where I was living at the time. And it was just on TV, dubbed, and it was just like nothing I'd ever watched before. I was so happy when I found it again years later when I was in university. It stuck with me for a long time, did Laputa. I was around a friend's house when I saw it. And I think they had satellite TV, which wasn't something we had at the time. So I don't remember if it was on satellite TV or if it was just on regular TV or not, but right, so this goes this way and fits in like so, and then this goes in here like so and clips together, and we need M6 and I7. One thing I would like to get hold of is a full set of the DVD set of the original Bubblegum Crisis TV series. That was a real sort of indoctrination into cyberpunk for me at the time. I would very much like to see that again. Loved Bubblegum Crisis. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It had such a good soundtrack. I had a friend who had all of Bubblegum Crisis on VHS, but they also had the concert, the 2 concert videos as well, where the voice actress for Pris and her backup band performed all of the Pris and the Replicants songs on stage. And this goes with I7, which is this one. It's weird, Bubblegum Crisis was really, really popular sort of when I was first getting into anime in the late 90s, early 2000s, but it doesn't seem to have, you know, it's not like Evangelion, which seems to have, which had a similar level of popularity at the time, but has taken off significantly more over the years. You know, I mean, I guess Evangelion, they just kept making more versions of it for everybody to salivate over, which they didn't really with Bubblegum Crisis, but there was a sequel series, if memory serves, Bubblegum Crisis, but I want to say Bubblegum Crisis 2040, something like that, which I never saw. I heard that it was okay, but that it didn't live up to the promise of the original. It was also had very different character designs, or updated character designs, if memory serves. So this needs to go this way round, and then this lives in that way round, and then this lives on there. So that is the neck, I'm fairly certain, from the previous model, from the Banshee. Trying to think what other anime I really enjoyed in the 90s. and I guess early 2000s. It was late 90s, early 2000s that I was really into anime. What would I like to see again? Slayers? I enjoyed Slayers at the time. I'm not sure how well it would hold up now, but I did enjoy Slayers. I-10 and I-14. I-10. I-14. This one. Yeah, so we've talked about Tenchimoyo already. That's something I really would like to get hold of again. Bubblegum Crisis, Slayers. What else did I did end up with a DVD copy of Perfect Blue, if memory serves. But that's not something that I'd particularly want to rewatch on a regular basis, in the same way that I don't really have any desire to rewatch Requiem for a Dream on a regular basis, despite it being a very good film. I heard Cyber City Oedo 808 came out on Blu-ray recently in this country, which that's something I'd kind of like to see again. Again, I suspect it's actually not as good as I remember it being, but it was extremely stylish. A lot of the stuff from that period of my life is showing up on streaming services these days. I noticed Trigun was on either Netflix or Amazon the other week. That's something that I wouldn't mind watching again, silly as it was. I would like to, I think I'd actually like to get hold of another copy of Cowboy Bebop. There's a Blu-ray version of Akira these days, which I should probably get hold of at some point, because, you know, Akira on Blu-ray. I once saw Akira on 70mm at the student cinema. That was an experience and a half. Netflix have Hellsing. That's useful. Good theme music on Hellsing. Gunsmith Cats as well, and Riding Bean. Gunsmith Cats had excellent theme music. Though Gunsmith Cats is probably... I have a suspicion Gunsmith Cats is... If my memory of the manga is correct, because I did have the Gunsmith Cats mangas at one point, I may still have them. My memory of Gunsmith Cats is that it's kind of... It has some problematic characterizations that maybe I didn't pay attention to in the 2000s in the way I would these days. It certainly, yeah. So which way around are we going here? Like so? Yes. I'm going that way around. Though, whilst I may not spend a huge amount of time trying to find Gunsmith Cats, I might at some point, well, I probably will straight after this stream have to find the Gunsmith Cats intro music, because that was very good. Grabbing a drink, that's probably not the worst plan in the world. Might have to do that shortly. To finish off this shoulder. Or this shoulder joint rather. And then yes. Break for sustenance is probably not a bad plan. That said, apparently I haven't quite finished my drink I had. Yeah. I miss having the time to just sit down and watch a pile of anime, but it is what it is. Time moves on. And I guess I do have time to sit down and watch a big pile of anime. I just choose to build Gundam while talking into the void these days instead. Or, you know, play computer games or work in the garage. Well, yeah, I mean, there is that. I guess wrestling is my anime these days, which, you know, is not that far from the truth anyway. Particularly given that I tend to watch Japanese wrestling rather than anything else. And there's very little more anime than professional wrestling. Why am I... That is dead. Let's use a fresh one. yes, given how behind I am on watching professional wrestling, which I am really behind on at the moment, maybe I don't need to be adding anime rewatches and investigations into the mix, but you know what? You're talking to someone who has bought 3 perfect grade kits since Christmas and is intending on buying another one, so I'm not exactly one to talk about making anything other than poor life choices. Right, so this goes this way round and this way round, and then sits in here like so. Excellent. Right, and at 8:25, I'm going to take some break, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes with a fresh drink for me, and yeah, we'll continue on with the torso. I think we can probably finish the torso at least, and maybe the head as well today, but we'll see how things go. I shall be back in no more than 5 minutes. Good evening. I am returned, freshly fortified with more liquid. I hope you're all still having a fantastic evening. I hope you're enjoying the stream. And let's get back into it. And by it, I mean building of the Master Grade Full Armour Unicorn, as opposed to my interminable reminiscence about 90s anime. So, A20 and D10. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to stop reminiscing about 90s and early 2000s anime, but you know. A20 and 21 and D10 and 11, okay. So this is 20 and that's 21. A20, A21. And D10 and D11. That's these two here. That was 11. This is 10. Right, yes, this is all coming back to me now as to how this all goes together. Tiny sure what angle this needs to be at. That's right. There we go. Apologies. Beating up the microphone. So, what angle do we want to come at this from? Like that? Yeah, I think that's probably correct. There we go. There it is. One thing I haven't rewatched in a while, anime-wise, is Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the old, I love the original anime from the 90s. That and Akira were an outstanding pair, but I really like standalone complex. It's kind of a shame Masamune Shirow got kind of... I was going to say it was kind of a shame Masamune Shirow got weird, but Masamune Shirow was always kind of weird. He just hid it better early on. I still rate the Ghost in the Shell manga as one of the best works of cyberpunk out there. But even that was already showing his more I mean, let's not beat around the bush. The guy likes drawing porn, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but he was also really good at writing cyberpunk, and he does less of that now, and that's a real shame, because he was really good at writing cyberpunk. And you know, if he wanted to do both of those things at once again, I'd have been okay with that. If it meant we could have the really interesting cyberpunk stuff again. I guess Dominion Tank Police was the same. The indications, the writing was on the wall as it were with Dominion Tank Police as well. Ghost in the Shell, Dominion Tank Police, Appleseed, I think that was Shira. Love those shows. Really did like those animes. But these days, as far as I'm aware, all he does is increasingly just does porn, which, as I say, fine, you know, but disappointing. A18 and 17, that's these two. Oh. Hitting the camera, I definitely need... The springs on this camera arm are definitely weakening a little. I'm going to have to get some string before the next show to just hold that arm in place better. Right, so that's A17 and 18. Do we need A25 and A14 twice. A14 is here. And also here. And a 25. Where's A25? Here. 7 and 8. Okay, D7 and 8. All these two here. go. It's a little thing that flips up on the shoulders. Let's do this. Still feel like there's nostalgia anime that I'm not remembering. From my time at and just after university. I watched a lot of anime back then. It was just late 90s, anime was just beginning to become available in this country without really having to dig for it. Places like Virgin Megastores were, for those of you who remember what Virgin Megastores were, used to had started having small stocks of anime, basically all of which I already had, but it was getting to the point where you could mail order from places like Manga Video and AD Vision and the like, and you know, anime conventions were beginning to become a thing. As I say, I picked up my first Gunpla at anime conventions in the 90s. Is going on there like so. There we go. Right. So yeah, there was a lot of... Suddenly it was becoming easier to get hold of anime in this country, and university anime clubs were springing up. Needless to say, there was one at the university I went to. Needless to say, I was a member. There were some things that I never got around to watching. I've always meant to watch Revolutionary Girl Athena. I have heard nothing but good things about that series, and I never ended up watching it. I'm told it still holds up. That's certainly something that should go on the list. Unsurprisingly, there's some of the same molding issues that the battery had. There's some very some quite uneven moulding lines on some of these parts on this kit. Which is a shame. This isn't going to be, it's not a face that's going to be visible. Get that in there. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to tidy this one up to match it, unfortunately. Because I don't want these. These being different on both sides, and given I can't add to the other one, I can only take away from this one. Right, so let's put this back in place. Now that we've flattened that out. And then this just needs is not going to be a visible face, so just going to get that straight in here like so. Already cleaned that piece up, so this goes there. This sits on top like so. There we go. And then these two parts hinge outwards. Or hinge up rather. Right, and we can still see the tiny human for the moment. So that was everything here. So next step is I1, which is this. Well, if nothing else, today's stream has made me want to go downstairs and raid my comic book shelf for manga that I haven't read in 20 years, which, you know, is good, I guess. Is that good? It's probably neutral. It's not bad, because I've already spent the money on it 20 years ago, so, you know, that's... It's also made me want to go through Netflix and Amazon Prime and see just what they have in their anime sections. That tickles my nostalgia bone. What are we doing here? This. Straight on. And this is oh, back in where you're supposed to be. This is a clip that allows for the extension of the torso. There we go. And then secures it in place once the torso's been extended. Let's get that back in place as well. And then if you clip it back in place, it also then secures it into position with the torso unextended, like so. But there was also D15, which is back plate here. In fact, I think we're going to need a lot of sprue D. In fact, exclusively sprue D for a little while. Right, D15, which is this. I've got 2 nub marks. Where was the third? Oh, that annoys me. That's Or did I take this off? Here? Yes, there it is. So that clips in like so. Then we need D12 and 13 and D16 and 17. Oh, I missed a part earlier on. D14. Let's do this first. It's impressive. So D14, and then we need 12 and 13, 16 and 17. So what's this track is perhaps a little bit more monotonous thumping than I was really looking for in my life at the moment. There's a time and a place for such things, and that was not it right now. sanding down sunken parts that are just don't have quite enough room for my memory board to get into is kind of annoying. Oh, panel lining on this is going to take forever. Not that that's a bad thing. It's going to look pretty fucking good once it's done, I suspect. Certainly, I don't regret the panel lining taking as long as it did on the real grade version of this model. So I'm hoping that it's going to get just as good results on the master grade. Let's try this again. Failed to do this in the right order, but there we go. That's how that should be. That's more like it. Right, it's back to where we were actually supposed to be in this process. Right, there we go. So this one lives on this side. There we go. Every week or every stream, this buffer gets closer to the end of its life. And that lifespan is definitely running out. Well, there are. I have options available to me, so as far as how I'm going to be doing, come on, you can, there we go, go where you're supposed to, that's it, that all fits very nicely. Right, so the back. probably best, you know, that one has to have the rights to music these days in order to stream. Because, if only for your own benefit, can I tell you what? If I could play whatever I liked, you'd be spending these streams listening to a combination of dodgy 90s goth music, dodgy early 90s techno, and wrestling themes. So you should thank your lucky stars that that's not a thing that's an option for me. The DMCA has saved you from something at least. To soothing trance beats. Instead of me, for example, inflicting the Sisters of Mercy on you. Take this as an endorsement of copyright law, because, you know, copyright law's bullshit. But stopped clocks and all that, I guess, is what I'm saying. All secure and in position now. So what's next? D9, I12 and I9. Well, let's get I12 and I9 first. I9 is here. is genuinely not going to get seen, so I'm not going to. Just going to take the edges off that. This might. I think this is going to get seen, but just to be on the safe side. So, how is this going together? We've got these, so that goes in like so, and we need D9. Which is this. Sunken. Another sunken knob mark. Just an area too small to really get this emery board onto it. Somewhat annoying. definitely don't have to get the definitely gonna have to dig out the angle grinder over the weekend. Do a bit of prep work for later in the week. I can't remember if I've mentioned this. Let's get this sorted and then oh, D18 has to go on first. Okay. Which is the collar. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of wet and dry paper, and this brass rule to use as in place of these as a waterproof flat. But I think I need to. I'm going to cut it a long ways down the middle here, and maybe even in half as well, so I get 4. So I can have a waterproof flat instead of these little wooden ones, because obviously the wet and dry is going to need to be both wet and dry. Right, so this clips in like so, and this clips in like so, and there we have better. There we have a torso. So, bear with me, I'm going to have a sip of this. This seems like a good point. To do some comparisons. Now, obviously this is in destroy mode at the moment, but there's definitely more tapered towards the centre, towards the inside on this. This line is much more vertical as opposed to this one which is tapered in. Yeah, there's some definite differences there. Interesting. I'll do some slightly more detailed comparisons the further we get. But so given we're here, let's come on. There it is. And we need, this is something I've really does not want to flip up. Which is faintly annoying. This is faintly irritating. So how can we, I think, there it is. So, there we go. That's more like it. Transformed into destroy mode. I think that's come out quite nicely. Let's just get the and indeed I think the UV glow is coming out quite clearly there. So let's fold these back in, fold these back down, squish everything back together where it should be. And we once again have a nice secure torso. So next up is the head. How much work is this going to take? It is probably going to take more work than we have time for this evening. What are we at? Well, think we're going to I think we're going to call it there for the evening, I'm afraid. I realise it's a little earlier than I would normally do so, but I don't think we've got enough time to finish off the head. And given how fiddly the head is, I don't want to be leaving loose parts on the head lying around. I was hoping we were going to have time to finish it off this evening, but I don't think that's really going to be doable. So we'll start off with the head next. Stream. Now then, I've been streaming Thursday and Sunday. Thursday evening, Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon doesn't seem to be working for people in that I am very much streaming into the void on Sunday afternoons. So I'm going to rejig things. There will be no Sunday afternoon stream this week, or if there may be a Sunday afternoon stream, but it will not be a build stream. I'm going to move the Sunday afternoon build stream is going to get moved to Tuesday afternoons. So new schedule will be Tuesday and Thursday will be the build streams. So next Tuesday we will continue on from where we've left off here with this delightful torso. And Sunday I'm probably going to leave blank for the moment. I may do some game streaming on Sunday afternoons, but again, I'm not really seeing much in the way of sort of people around on Sunday afternoons. So I think it's going to be better to be streaming in the evenings, and Sunday evening's not really an option for me. So going forward, I'm hoping to do some just more non-build streams. There will always be the Tuesday and Thursday build streams, but again, I'm going to look to doing some more evening streams and perhaps doing some gaming or other things, whether it's a panel lining stream or whatever. But I think I'm going to see more in the way of non-build streams in addition to the build streams. The build streams are not going away, because that's the whole point of this, is to build Gundam and talk to people. So thank you for being around this evening. I do appreciate it. I realise I started a little late. You're getting shortchanged by about 20 minutes this week. If I'd been on time, we could probably have done the head in addition to the torso, but it is what it is. Thanks for being here. If you've enjoyed the show, then if you've enjoyed the stream, then I would be exceptionally grateful if you give me a follow, if you haven't done already, but equally do not feel you have to. It's not a requirement. I never want to feel like I'm pressuring anybody into that. So as I say, I will definitely be back on Tuesday evening, so that will be 7 o'clock UK time until 10 o'clock UK time, Tuesday evening, and going from there it'll be Tuesday and Thursday, and both evenings will be 7 till 10 UK. I think that covers everything. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. As always, these streams will be archived on my YouTube channel. There's now a playlist for the complete build of the real grade new Gundam, including the HWS expansion kit. So if that interests you, the entire thing is up there as a playlist, and I will be uploading this and starting this as a playlist as well. So that will all be there and available on YouTube, even when it disappears from here on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter at TremaineAlex. all one word, no underscore. At Alex Tremaine was taken, but at Tremaine Alex isn't. And you'll be able to get notifications when I go live, even for those occasions when it is not a scheduled stream. I think that's everything. I'm gonna stop now. Thanks for being here, and I hope you have a great weekend. I'm certainly done with this fucking week. I'm gonna get through work tomorrow, and then I'm gonna have a nice quiet weekend, and I hope you all have the same. So I'll see you Tuesday. Bye bye.